This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Shalom. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, pushing this doctrine of truth to the elect of the nation of Israel, who were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, pursuant to the curses of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. All right, I wanted to do a quick lesson on the wicked. Once they're taken out of power, the whole world is going to rejoice, okay? Even nature, even the trees, we just read that, okay? This wicked, evil beast regime that's headed by the Edomytes, like the scripture says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They've done nothing but destroyed the earth, okay, and the people in it. They've destroyed the minds of people, okay? They're shedding blood of the people, especially you Israelites, okay? These people are destructive and wicked to the core, okay? They are polluting the air, polluting the water, okay? Destroying the trees at a very alarming rate. The rainforest is being decimated, okay? And this is all being done primarily by the wicked, okay? The scripture says the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And they've done all three very well, okay? They are very efficient killing machines. Let's read this again. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 8. Let's start at 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Okay, since the Edomites are laid down or taken out of power, okay, you're not going to have to worry about people chopping down the trees, okay, by the millions on a yearly basis. This is all they've done. Make paper and all kinds of products, different products, at the expense of a precious resource. Okay, trees are a very, very special and precious resource. Let's take a look. I pulled up a couple images. And I don't think anybody appreciates trees more than the Israelites, because the brothers that are in the truth all say the same thing about trees and nature in general. But I notice when I listen to a lot of the brothers' videos, a lot of brothers, since I've been in the truth, have referenced how much they appreciate trees, okay? How they beautify the environment, okay? And they also emit oxygen. We need oxygen, obviously, okay? But it's something about the presence of trees in any city or any neighborhood that makes you feel serene, and it's very relaxing and therapeutic, okay? But see, with the Edomites in power, they chop down the trees, okay? There have been trees throughout the city where I am where they just chop them down. They put up, now granted I live in the desert, but there's still trees out here, okay? And I can recall living in certain places in the city at one time where they were just chopping down trees. They said that they got too big and they're too old. And I wanted to say, hey man, I love these trees. You know, why are you chopping them down? But this is what the devil does. They destroy. They don't appreciate life, okay? Everywhere they go, they leave a trail of blood in their wake, okay? And they destroy nature. They destroy environments. They destroy ecosystems. They destroy habitats. All right, this is the nature of those devils. Okay, and it's going to remain the same until Yahushua comes back to restore order here on earth. All right, so there's a lot of truth in this. All right, this is a prophecy. Okay, because we know trees and life in general, trees, grass, flowers, they have life, they have spirits, just like animals. Okay, so yeah, we know the wicked's in power, and things are going to get a lot worse until they are taken out of power. All right, but it's important to remind yourself that this is all going to come to an end very soon, because the Lord's coming back to take them out of power, restore our people, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those of you that be like under the speckled bird. Okay, the Lord is coming back to restore order. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, verse 4. There's a lot of scriptures that reference the state of the world when the Edomytes are in power. And this is another one. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. All right? So we know languisheth is a type of depression. Languish. To languish is sadness or depression. Okay? And the whole world is mourning. All right? Languishing. It says the haughty people of the earth do languish. And these haughty people are the Edomites. All right? They're getting depressed because they know that their kingdom is coming to an end. All right? A lot of them are getting scared because they know that Bible prophecy is true. And they know that their days are numbered. Okay? But we have a lot of our people languishing too, along with the other heathens. All right? A lot of people are in mourning because they see the state of the world. They see the state of this country, Babylon the Great, and they see that it's falling. They see the economy. They see how people are losing jobs. Okay, jobs are being lost by the hundreds of thousands. All right, it's estimated in 2026, I want to say 300,000 or more. If I recall correctly, they were putting out some numbers last week, but that's pretty significant. Okay, and we know that this is all being done by design. We know that a lot of these jobs are going to be replaced by AI, okay, this year. All right, so what are people supposed to do in the meantime? Well, again, it's a part of their plan. People are going to then cry out for help from the government, and then they're going to offer a solution. Right? Remember, order out of chaos. Ordo ab chaos. And create a crisis, create a problem, confusion, and then they come up with the solution. All right? So they can have the people at their mercy. So that's what they're going to do when people are losing their jobs in droves in 2026. They're then going to offer universal basic income. Few $1,000s a month or a couple $1,000s a month if you decide to put yourself on the grid. Okay? The CBC or CBDC, the digital currency, all right, which is ultimately going to be swapped out for, or integrated, I should say, not swapped out, but integrated into that mark. Okay? Your health information, your finances, I mean, everything about you is going to be confined to that chip, that RFID microchip that eventually Esau Edom is going to mandate for all of the world. Okay? Let's jump down to verse 5. The earth also was defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Okay? These Edomites have defiled the earth. Okay? And the life on earth. Like I said, the oceans, the air, okay, the trees, the flowers, the honeybee is very scarce these days. I can remember growing up, you saw honeybees everywhere, but now they're a rare find. Okay, where are they? Why are they disappearing? Well, it's something in the environment that's killing them off. Okay, they know this. All right. So this is why the Lord needs to come back to restore order, because there's not going to be much left if these devils are left in power. Okay, because all they know how to do is destroy. They don't want to preserve anything. Okay, they don't promote life, they promote death. All right. So it says, because they have transgressed the laws. What laws? The Lord's laws, right? They don't observe land Sabbaths, right? They sell abominations in stores, okay? I believe that I got some fake meat, or that lab-grown meat a couple weeks ago. I bought a steak from Walmart, and it just didn't taste right. Didn't taste right at all. Didn't even taste like steak. It was a ribeye. And for that amount of money, I paid maybe like $22. I don't eat it that often, but when I crave it, I buy it. Or I'll go to a restaurant and get it. And I kind of prefer to cook it at home, because I cook it better than the restaurant. But anyway, it was so bad. It was tasteless, right? I took a few bites, and I just tossed it because it didn't taste right, didn't look right. So you got to be careful. I mean, this is all being done on the devil's watch. He's responsible for this. Okay? So these are things that people just overlook. They dismiss it. I mean, we know who's responsible for it, but no one wants to point to that elephant in the room that's responsible for doing all this evil. You know, lab-grown meat is wicked. It's despicable. It's wicked. You know, it may be cost-effective for these manufacturers, but it's not good for us. It's not good for the people who consume these meats, okay? And they shouldn't be able to sell it as regular meat when they know full well it was grown in a laboratory. But this is what the devil does, okay? And just brace yourself for more atrocities like this, because this is an atrocity. All right? There's no way in the world you should be able to go into a store and pay your hard-earned money for fake-ass meat or fake fruit, you know, the GMOs, none of that stuff. But again, this is what we have to endure. This is one of the many hardships that we have to endure as Israelites, as the elect, until the Lord comes back. Okay? And this is why it's important to maintain your faith, build your strength. Okay? I got one more scripture on deck. This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, and we know the wicked are the the Edomytes, Salakia, not the Israelites. We got wicked Israelites, though. We got the 2/3, and they are wicked as hell, as wicked as the wicked. All right, but this is referring to the wicked, the Edomites, okay? Because they're bearing rule, and guess what? The whole world is mourning, okay? Here in Babylon the Great, look no further, all right? But we know that Esau, Edom, spreads himself like the green bay tree that's talked about in the book of Psalms, chapter 37. Meaning he's everywhere. He's intertwined with every aspect of society and the world. Okay, and his policies are going to affect people in other countries. Okay? They're colonizers, and that's what they do. Their presence, they oppress people. They oppress. That's the nature of the beast. All right, let's read that one more time. When the righteous are in authority, again, that's Esau, Edom, the people rejoice, or Salakia. The Israelites, when the Israelites are in authority, I'm tripping, okay? And that's going to be when the Lord returns. The people will rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Now, you know we had 40 years of peace under King Solomon. All right, now we had that 40 years of peace So people were rejoicing, all right, because it was ruled in righteousness for the most part, okay? But that's going to intensify 100-fold when Yahushua returns, because it's going to be the kingdom of heaven, all right? We won't go off as people because we're going to have the law, statutes, and commandments placed in our inward parts. So it'll be impossible for us to go off and engage in any type of wickedness. All right? And we're going to be putting those heathens in line and making them follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? So when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice, even the rest of the heathens. All right? Now, they won't be on the level of the Israelites, but they'll have clean water, all right? Clean, unadulterated food. The children will be able to go any and everywhere without the fear of being abducted or molested or harmed in any way, right? Because righteousness is going to be established on this earth under our King Yahushua. Okay? So it's something to look forward to, and it's just something to remind yourself amidst all this doom and gloom, this negativity, and this evil, this wicked in the world. All right? Sometimes it's hard to remember that we got all this coming to us, okay? But it's important to stop and just always remind yourself that better things are on the way for the elect, or for our people in general, okay? All right, that's pretty much it. I want to say all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. Shalom.